Today, we're going to take one of these blanks from AT Blanks Australia, add some permanent vinyl and some chiffon ribbon to create these very cute end-of-year teacher gifts. Let's make this. So this is a really cheap and cheerful project. I'm just using a standard grip mat for this project. I have got a Bookmark blank that I got from AT Blanks Australia. So this is thin enough that you could engrave on it as well. It's just a 2mm acrylic. Then I've got this chiffon ribbon. If anyone knows where I can find this in Spotlight, please let me know, because I cannot find it anywhere. And if the only place I can think of would be Spotlight, if I can't find it anywhere else, that I got from Shein. So if anyone can tell me where to get it in Australia and not have to get it delivered, that'd be fantastic. And then I am just using some scrap vinyl. So I've got my adhesive vinyl folder, and make sure that when you choose the vinyl color for the back part of the bookmark, so the French stripe one, you need to make sure that it is a vinyl that is colored on the outside as well as the inside. I have made the mistake before where I've got, oh, this is fantastic, and then it turns out that the actual vinyl, when I lift it, is like white on the back. So I've got this really funky color, but it's on the wrong side, so you can't actually see through the acrylic. So make sure that you choose a vinyl that, so for mine's navy blue, and it's navy blue on the front and it's navy blue on the actual sticker component as well. So make sure you choose a vinyl that has got the same color on both sides. So I thought in my videos I might start showing you some inspiration that I've gathered, because these ideas are not coming out of my completely out of my own head. They are being inspired by other things that I see. So I saw someone doing on a YouTube the other day, they were starting their Christmas decorations, and I saw them do a French stripe on a box, and it had a picture of a Christmas tree, but it also had this French stripe, and I thought, oh, I really love that style. It's a little bit that French chic kind of thing. So I thought I'd just show everyone where I'm getting this idea from. I love the French stripe tea towels. I know it's weird, but I really like a nice tea towel. And so I've just, on the screen now, I've just put up a few images of what is inspiring me for this French stripe that I'm going to put on the back of the bookmark. So I'm going to use Design Space and 1001 fonts today, but you absolutely do not need 1001 fonts, because this is a very straightforward project. So, but I'm going to start in Design Space, and I'm going to start by creating the shape of my bookmark to start with. The reason I want to do that is to see how I'll fit it all in. Now, the bookmark is a rectangle with a rounded end. Now, Design Space have that shape, but I want to show you why I'm not going to use that shape. So my bookmark, when I measure it, is 5 centimeters across by 15 centimeters in length. Now, when I make that shape with the rounded edge, it turns it into like a bullet shape, which is very elongated at the end. Whereas the bookmark I've got is a true semicircle at one end and then a rectangle throughout the base. So I just want to make sure that I am keeping that true to the actual shape. So I've done a measure, and the rectangle itself is going to be 5 centimeters across and 12 centimeters down, meaning that the circle, or the semicircle that I've chosen from Shapes, is a width of 5 and a height of 2.5. Now, because the shape comes into Design Space on the side, then I actually need to do a height of 5 and a width of 2.5. Then we rotate it. Now, when you rotate, you can absolutely turn it yourself, but I like to put it into the rotate component of the Design Space menu, because it is more accurate. So I just type in 90 and then it will give me exactly 90. If you don't do that exactly 90, it will be a bit skewed. So that's why I like to use that rotate function at the top. And then I'm going to create the rectangle, which, as I said, is 5 centimeters across and 12.5 centimeters in height. Then all I need to do is line them up. So I'm going to line them up as close as possible, select both of them. Then I need to align center. And then while they are also connected, then I'm going to go down to combine and unite because I want them to be one piece. So I've just showed you there the comparison between the two. So you can see why sometimes you do need to build the shape so that you are getting the right shape to match the blank that you are using. And now I'm just selecting that oval kind of shape with the long edges because I just want to put a bit of an indication of where the hole is at the top of my bookmark. Now I did a quick measure on the blank and it's got a width of 1.2-ish and a height of 0.5. And then I just want to put it in about the spot where it is on our actual bookmark. Select both and center horizontally. This is just a guide. It's not really necessary. You could just measure the bookmark yourself. But since we're creating the shape to start with, you may as well make it as correct as possible. So now I'm going to create our French stripe. So I'm going to do the French stripe that's got a wide stripe in the middle and 2 thinner stripes on either side. You could do it the other way around. You can have 2 thicker ones and a thin one in the middle. It's up to you how you do this. And absolutely, you do not have to do French stripe at all. The beauty of this bookmark is something that you should be able to just whip up in 15-20 minutes. Honestly, it took me that long. And then you've got a present for your, I'm doing this as a teacher gift, but it could be for your friends. It could be for a child that your child plays with and you want to give them a quick Christmas present one afternoon at play date. It doesn't matter. It's up to you what you're using it for. But I've just chosen this French stripe style. So I've created one stripe, which I've given it a width of 1.2. And I'm going to test out a height of 14, but I think that's going to be a little bit too high. So you can see here that I'm selecting my bookmark shape as well as the stripe that I'm creating. And I am aligning it to the bottom. The reason I'm aligning bottom is because that's where our stripe is going to start. It's not going to start at the top of our bookmark. It's going to start at the bottom of our bookmark. So with all of these things, I want you to highlight them and then align them to bottom. So I've created my first stripe and I've gone with a height of 13.7. That was really just a bit of moving around rather than choosing that number in particular. I just played around with it, you can see there. And then I'm going to duplicate this stripe and I've changed the width to half of the fat line. So I've just changed the width to 0.6. So now that I've got my skinny line, I'm going to duplicate it and then I'm going to move it to the left side of the fat line. So now I should have a skinny line, a fat line, and then a skinny line. Then we're going to highlight all 3 lines plus the bookmark and we're going to align them to bottom. Then I'm going to choose just the 3 lines and then go back to the align menu and choose distribute horizontally. So now what we've done is we've actually put these lines evenly spaced apart on our bookmark. Now my next step is to add text. So I'm just going to put the name of the teacher in my text. Now I'm going to do a very quick 1001 fonts here. You don't have to do this. If you've got a font that you like, go for it. But just as a quick refresher, I've gone into 1001 fonts. I've clicked on handwritten because I want it to look handwritten, and I want a script font for this one because I'm giving it to an adult. So I'm starting to move away from doing script fonts for younger people because they find it really tricky to read. But for adults, I think a script font is fantastic. Now I've put the name Ms. Hines in my box there, so you can see all of my text has changed to the text Ms. Hines. That means that I can see exactly what it's going to look like when I cut it or I type it or I put it into my documents. So I'm just going to scroll through and I'm going to land on a font. And I really like this Mona Lisa font script font because I really like the little love heart. You know, it's just like a little nod to, like, if your child really likes your teacher, it might be just a nice little nod to, I really liked you, you're nice. So then I hit the green download button. You can see with the red tag, it means that you cannot use this as commercial font. So you can't sell this design using this font. You can only sell designs that use the green tag. And then once I've downloaded it, I need to click on the download and it opens up. You're going to double click on it if you are an Apple user. If you are a PC user, you're going to have to right click and extract all. Then you go into the file and you are finding the .ttf or the .otf, depending on the font you've downloaded. And then you will need to install that. Then I need to go, once that's installed, I'm going to go back into Cricut and I'm going to save my project. So the reason we need to save our project right now is because we need to reload Design Space so that this new font downloads into our system. And so then Design Space can use that. So I'm just saving this as Teacher Bookmark. And then I'm going to go up to View and I am going to go Reload. What that will do is reload the program, and it will then, when you go in, you'll be able to find the font that you are after. All right, now that I've done a reload, I should be able to now go into my system font options and just start typing the name of the font. So it was called Mona Lisa script. So I'm just starting with MON, and then any of the fonts that will come up that have an MON in them will appear. I may have to continue to add letters because there's probably lots of fonts that have got MON in them. And then when I find my Mona Lisa script font, I'm just going to click on it, and then I'm going to add the name of the teacher. So I'm just going to type in, as I had in 1001 fonts, I'm going to type Ms. Hines, and then I am going to size it so it fits along the length or fair amount of the length of my bookmark. I'm going to change it to just a yellow color just to stand out at this stage. I know I want to use a metallic font, but I'm going to use some scrap font. So I'm not some scrap vinyl. So you can see here I've done a rotate and I've gone up to the rotate option and typed in 90 because when I did it, it was a 90.5. Now we are working on lines here, and if yours is a little bit skewed, it's going to really show because we've got all of these beautiful straight lines. That you can see that the Ms. Hines is about the same height as the stripes that I have done. And then looking at it, it's quite a thin font, and because you've got those lines at the back, I think I will just do a really small outline or an offset so it stands out. So I'm going to do an offset of 0.15. That's just enough to make that word stand out against the background. I just think it would have blended into the stripes there, and we may not have been able to see it because the stripes have the gaps in it. So then I'm just going to save again, and then I'm going to make. Now I am going to use just regular vinyl for the stripes and for the offset. So I'm going to move them to the same mat. So once I've clicked on mat, then I can actually hide my bookmark because I forgot to get rid of it, but you can just hide it. It just disappears. And then I'm going to move my stripes. Now, my stripes, you can see, have changed their position. The reason that has happened is because I have not attached them. I have just grouped them. So I'm just going to click cancel, and I click on the group, and then instead of having it as a group, I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to click where that paperclip is and click on attach. Now, when I go back in and I've got my Ms. Hines in one, and then I've got my stripes, you can now see that the stripes are in the order that they need to be. I'm just going to click on those 3 dots and I'm just going to move, and I'm going to select the white cutting mat because I'm going to cut the Ms. Hines and the stripes on the same mat because they are both just regular vinyl. So I'm just rotating them just because I just find it easier for myself to do the vinyl acrossways. But if you can leave it as lengthways if you wanted to, it's up to you. And then I'm having the actual text Ms. Hines, I'm having that on a separate mat because that's going to be a metallic vinyl. So I'm going to choose regular vinyl or just vinyl for my offset and my stripes. And then I am going to choose metallic vinyl for the text. Putting this together could not be much easier, I don't think. So we're just applying our vinyl using the wet method today. The reason I'm using the wet method is because we are going to be seeing, particularly the French stripe, we are going to be seeing it from its underside. So the vinyl is going to go on the back of your bookmark with the sticky component facing upwards. If we don't use the wet method here, there is a high chance of bubbling occurring. So we're going to use that one. You can have a go and go rogue, do the vinyl roulette if you like, but I suggest using the wet method here. So to start with, I have just taken off the plastic backing or the plastic covering from the bookmark, and then I'm using a little bit of isocol, which is rubbing alcohol. I'm just going to put it over. I know that I have just lifted the acrylic off the backing off the bookmark, but I don't want to have any dust or anything. So I've just done a little wipe over with the acrylic. And then I've got my little trusty spray bottle that has got a tiny little bit of detergent and some water. And I'm just giving it a little spray. I'm being actually a little bit more liberal than I normally would, mainly because we are looking at this from the underside. It's a little bit harder to hide blemishes when you're looking at the bottom, the sticky side through some acrylic. So I've just added some detergent and water, and now I'm going to place this down. Now, like I said when we were talking about Design Space, because we are using lines, we need to be really careful here because we want it to be as in the middle as possible. We want it to make sure it's straight. And the beauty of the spray and using this wet method, it means that if it's not straight, you can actually relift it and move it around until it is the way you want it to be. So I've made sure that I've lined up the bottom first so that those bottom bits are there. And then our middle stripe is directly in line with the hole at the top of the bookmark. So that is very well centered, particularly for me who's a little bit haphazard and likes to eyeball things. You absolutely could use a ruler here. Absolutely, without a doubt. So if you're not confident that you will be able to get it as straight as possible, please use a ruler. But I think because of the way we've produced it, we shouldn't need to use a ruler for this. Now you saw there that I've scraped out as much water as I can so that it will stick as I lift this transfer tape, but use a paper towel and just wipe out any excess because it may lift as you go. So see at the end there how it's lifted a little bit. So you're just going to wipe, and then so you're going to reuse that transfer tape, so make sure you put it back down on top of some backing there, and then I'm just using my paper towel to wipe that down and get rid of any of the water that might still be underneath the vinyl. And I'm actually thinking that, see, I can still see some bubbles there. I might actually get my scraper and I'm going to put it inside my paper towel. No, maybe I won't have to. No, see, look at these bubbles. I was confident until I took the backing off. Whoops. Should have left the backing on and done it. All right. So see how I've got my scraper inside my paper towel. The reason I've done that is because I don't want the scraper to scratch my acrylic. It enables me to put the pressure down that I need and that I can use with the scraper, but it isn't giving any of the scratches that would come with it. So the paper towel has protected it, and see, that's much better. See, it's all gone. Those bubbles are gone. All right. So now just a little bit of isocol again. And we're going to, first of all, place the metallic name over the top of the offset. And then we can transfer the whole thing at once. You could do it bit by bit. I just wanted one motion. If you have found that adding them one at a time is probably more beneficial, or it works a bit better, or it always turns out perfectly, let me know in the comments below. But I'm going to do this when I've got this kind of stuff. I try and put the offset and the text or the image or whatever together and then place it on the actual product. All right, now lining it up. Just take your time here to line it up as best you can. You can use baking paper here. That might help, because see my little mat? So I've put this little mat underneath to make it look a little bit better than the wood backing, but it moves around with things. No. See, if I was trying to do this and it was already on the bookmark, I'd probably have a little conniption. But because it's not yet on the bookmark, I feel like I've got a little bit more of a safety net. So you could put baking paper underneath this. You could put some of that transfer tape, the transfer backing, particularly if you buy the transfer backing that is clear, like this one. So see how I can still see the offset through it? So try and do something like that. And then you can line it up. And then you just need to stick one end down and then lift your transfer tape. See, it just shuffles around. It's a little pesky, this one. I don't know that I've ever had this much trouble putting it down. There we go. See, now that looks heaps better. So now that I've got it lined up, then I can add pressure to the left-hand side where it's stuck directly down onto my onto the offset. And now, technically, as I lift as I lift that backing paper, it should sit down as nice as possible. It looks pretty good, actually. I think that's worked. Awesome. All right. And then we're going to follow that wet method again to place this down. So I might just speed that up because we've seen that already. But make sure that you line up your name within those stripes. Use those stripes as your guide. And again, this is why the wet method's great, because you can move it around. And you'll see as I go, I do need to adjust a couple of times. But I am going to speed this up for you now. step is to add this chiffon ribbon. Now, I love this stuff. And like I said earlier, if anyone knows where to get it actually in Australia, in a store, please let me know, because I have looked and looked, and it was only until recently I worked out what I needed to search to find it. But again, I can't find it anywhere in a store. It could be because I live in Tassie and the store that supplies it in Australia is not in Tasmania or in Hobart anyway. But this one's from Shein. I just like it. They're really whimsical and pretty, and I really like this chiffon on the Bookmark trend that's been happening recently. So I'm just cutting that on an angle just to stop a little bit of fraying. And then look at it. Oh, isn't she cute? So my partner's name is Hines. So I've made it for her. So she's an English teacher. So it all fits. It actually is giving a bit Greek to me as well. It looks a bit like the Greek flag. So maybe a lighter blue would have worked a little bit, wouldn't have given so much of that Greek vibe, but I still love it. It's very summer vibe, isn't it? It looks like it could be something that you take to the beach. I really like this project. It is so quick. How quick was this video today? It is a great last minute gift, whether it's for an end of year teacher gift, whether it is for a friend of a friend of a friend. These are things that you can whip up really quickly and they have a great effect. Great for people who are trying to learn how to do offsets and how to layer vinyl, and also thinking about how you can use vinyl on two sides of a piece of acrylic. So this is a really great one to have a go at. You can theme it up however you like. It could be, as we're coming into Christmas, it could also have a Christmas theme. But definitely try this project, and it was fantastic to have you here this week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.